Democracy go look inside the status where statistics alone they now on the cartographic mapping for the sake of the midterm census.
Well,
the time from the studio clock now 7:45 and the program Good Morning Salon they continue. Remember, see yourself when they listen the program can send a message to the number 0779819181 or go now read the Democracy 98.1 Facebook page and be part of the discussion at the program this morning. We tell you earlier say today at the program where they can look at the status with statistics salon they now on the cartographic mapping for SICA the midterm census. And if people can remember, inside July 2020, the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, announced for make statistics salon ensure say they do a midterm census for the country where they go use as opportunity for correcting them what them been believe say missing from the 2015 National Housing and Population Census where it don't happen. And from that same day to now, them don't postpone the midterm census to them due to COVID and other challenge them where statistics salon be highlight that same day for say they not go able to do it yet. But the first stage of the whole midterm census itself, they don't start where they don't do the cartographic mapping where they can get at the studio this morning for let we know how the cartographic mapping don't go. And also since then we get for do with the midterm census, we know specific dates, no dates from after the two postponements of this particular midterm census. And for can talk about the cartographic mapping, of the census process, again at the studio this morning, Samuel Ansumana, when the Director of Communication and Public Relations, now Statistics Salon. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mabel. Thank you, Subtil.
All right, so as I don't tell listeners, the media this morning for Kangiwi updates on what's in the happen concerning the cartographic mapping for SICA the midterm census, where the country will get forget as announced by the president in July 2020. But let we just know for us, waiting be done they happen because I remember after the postponement, we don't get civil society organizations then at the studio, where we don't do debates as to whether or not we need the whole midterm census itself, the challenges and where they come with them, and also involvement of more people into the process. Now the census itself not happen yet, but the stages them where they go through forget the midterm census, don't let it start and I don't do the cartographic mapping. But before we can look at the cartographic mapping, let me just know from them concerns and where we don't they come from civil society organizations where we be done they discuss now the program. I guess on be done they follow because we done this guy for reach and forget feedback as to how on be done open the space firstly for involve more people. And let we just know waiting statistics salon be done do from then concerns where people be done there is in terms of involvement of more civil society so that the space go open and the process itself starts. Waiting statistics salon be done do.
Okay, so from the civil society front or the concerns that people they raise, particularly from the civil society, we been on they do engagements. We don't meet a couple of times with them. We don't mix it new. We don't engage them. We don't engage other civil society organizations. We get several committees where they for the census. We get the advisory committee. We get the publicity committee. We get the technical committee. We're in our committees and they will set up by the Census Act, for we actually incorporate other people for being involved in the process. So we don't do lots of the engagement in day, all right? We don't go around the country at some point in time, talk to the traditional people, then the district council, then the mayor, then we go now out of all this. The district and salon, the only side will not go in a western area, rural and urban, we will not do engagement. But we go all about the country, the length and breadth of this country for actually talk to people, then make them understand why we conduct this census, make them understand the purpose why we conduct this census. So we don't do all of the engagement in day. And for we've been to reach that point where we feel like say, we don't get lots of community buy-in because that's very important for people and buy into the census, and my own role and the role of my own team particularly. Now for ensure so we do that. We get lots of good reception from people. A lot of people they open their arms to we. The chiefs, the mayors, the district council chairpersons, all the other people we actually involved in this process. We go all around the country, all the 14 districts inside the interior part of Sierra Leone, say for Western area rural and Western area urban, all right? We go all side, do the engagement, then they engage with the people, then lay them understand the grassroots people, then make them take the message back to the people, then we do then sensitization meetings, and we are truly astounded by the kind of reception we get.
So in line with reaching all side in terms of getting the cartographic mapping right, how much on be also involve political party representation? Because that be one key concern where we come out from certain political party of the involvement of them in the whole process.
Okay, so political parties, I'm not going to specifically pinpoint political parties now, yeah? As in specific political parties. But I will tell you one thing. Interestingly for we, all the political parties, na Sierra Leone, all, underline the word all, they on board the census, all. Every political party gets a representative na the advisory committee, all. We write letters to them. In fact, we get meetings to the effect where they come, not to one, not to two meetings where we call them, then come all the major political parties where you can think of, including the All Political Parties Association, APA, all right? Then they're part of this process. We call them, then come, they were part of the process. But to we astonishment, we've been seeing some press release will come out some time back, where you've been get some concerned political parties or so. And then concerned political parties, then interestingly, some of the parties that we formed them one and day, now the one that we actually been there and where we don't invite to any part of the advisory committee. So to we as Statistics Sierra Leone, we be honestly shocked that happened, But let me tell you something. The interesting part that we know exactly how things can pan out, especially where people can go feel like say there is some politicization where yes, I go say then they on board, then they on board. We don't do engagements with them. Then they on board for ensure say we actually push the census go before, all right? Well, it not necessarily need for be that situation where they need for maybe come out and make statements or whatsoever and this and that. But most of the meetings, so they get that behind closed doors, okay? And we don't need for can divulge all the details of them one and day. But we did actually put on that way, they say, with the drag political parties, with the drag other people, civil society, the media, and other people there along. So because we get several committees, we actually try for bring together all them people in there.
In line with this exercise, on a state say on don't do 99%. Yes. The 1% are waiting, you left out.
Okay, so the 1%, thank you very much. The 1%, the process where we clean the data. All right? Now, whilst they do the cartographic mapping, okay, what normally can happen is where the enumerators they go out, where they go out in the field, then they go map, and within the map, then they take stock of roads, then carve EA boundaries, they identify points of interest and all of that. During the data cleaning, all right, situation in the way something this boundary, when you get boundary then for touch. This boundary and this boundary then for touch. So if you get a space in between the boundary, it means that space there, nobody not claiming. And when we send we enumerators and for going at the field at the end of the day, that particular space the way open, where like maybe people and they dwell there, then they live there or whatsoever, we not go send enumerators and they for go count. So then place and they way maybe spaces and they when a mistake where the enumerators they make or whatsoever, we they see how we can actually correct that one day. All right, you get situation the way boundary then go overlap. Sometimes this enumeration area come, this enumerator come, it can do work na ya. Where you don't do work na this enumeration area, then it go inside the other enumerator in your. Okay, so we can pull land the back. They were in the all na little things the way we need for do clean the data properly, ensure say everything align, identify all the roads, all right. Make sure say all the bits and pieces then tied up, Okay, so until we don't do that, in fact, we get situations. We will get situations then. I don't say we get them yet, but we will get situations the way the threshold for one enumeration area are 80 households, at least 80 households. So, for example, if an enumerator go on the field and it carve a boundary when at 60 households, then they not reach 80 enemy. Then they not reach the threshold of one enumeration area. So during this data cleaning, we can identify all the one in this. Sometimes we'll get several of them one in there. So sometimes a situation where sometimes 2 or 3 enumeration area don't come out one side because the threshold very low as per what the enumerator do, we can actually amalgamate them one day and maybe make her into 1 EA or 2 EA as the case may be. So all the one in there, things they would do. Until we complete that process, then we're not going to say we do 100% because then a key component of the cartographic mapping when are the data cleaning and then the ongoing as we talk.
All right, continue further with me at the studio, Samuel and Sumana, Director of Communication and Public Relations, Studio, Director of Communication and Public Relations, now Statistics Salon. We talk about the stage where they now on the cartographic mapping for the midterm census where the country will get forget. And earlier before we take the other issue there, if they talk about the stage where say they don't complete but 99% of them.
Sure.
So now let we go back. The 99% we when I don't conclude on the cartographic mapping. Now waiting happen another stage there. Waiting exactly Statistics Salon been do.
Okay, so we basically send enumerators there out, then go take stock of the households, try to identify the type of household, all right, whether na shank, whether na a bungalow, whether na a 2-story building, basically the housing type. Identify the housing type, all right. Take what's in and call GPS coordinates of the location. Because you need for actually there within 5 meters of any location for making able for mapping and take GPS coordinates of the location and then they ask the number of people in within the household. In fact, then they begin giving an idea of the amount of people in which they what we'll go for eventually get as a population. You could give you an idea. You go ask them, but then they how much people in there at the house, and then at the end of the day. You map the place, okay? You indicate say you been on Kanaya. So now so you they do, now so they actually they do for every household till they reach 80. All right, on the EA tab or on the EA pad rather. When they reach 80, when you reach 80 households, where it shows you don't reach 80 households, then the EA pad will prompt you for carve. That is, you they try for carve, like for draw the boundary, so you don't draw 1 EA. Okay? So that's what the electronics means they do. So now basically then we enumerators and we don't they do all throughout the country where then they do the cartographic mapping.
In line with that boundary issue, let's look at about border between Salon and Guinea. Most people can say Guinea they inside Salon and Salon they inside Guinea because of the interaction of the two people of the two nationality them. I mean, in that area, I want to address the issue with the for say you get people and where you count, you will say Yana Salon, but later they will tell you say Yana Guinea. There is always an issue between the two sides in there.
Okay, so basically, what we do. Not to like the land mass.
No, yeah, but you live in the household of.
Naya they say, not to just the land mass. We count places, right? Then Kailaon part, then Liberia border part, Gambia part. Naya we border with Sierra Leone. Okay, we go now all inside and we enumerate and go there and count. Okay, go there, take stock. Take GPS coordinates, check the kind of households and we did it. Now, when it comes to whether you're in a Salon or you're in a Guinea and everything of that stuff, most of the time, then kind of stuff, then they very much administrative and it gets some political implications as well between the two countries then we're involved or the 3 countries that were involved. And so most of the time we can left that side with the Ministry of Local Government or the other people and we involved, but we on side now for basically just go map. Okay?
What about household there and no count them for letting.
Of course we map them.
Okay.
Certainly we map them. Households and within that side and we map them because once then they we think first of all we get by the way, what would they send we enumerators? We get a map. What would they give them? okay, we already get a place where they give you, where they tell you, say, now yeah, you to go for go map. So that side they follow Guyan, first of all, an indication say it they within say alone.
Because that's our as say you say when I don't do 99% women select. When I like already don't complete the process itself.
Almost, yeah.
Now all the hosts them na salon on account 1-1 or na do by group. Now all the hosts them on account.
Okay, so two things. Then can go on your host, for go map your host, all right, for go map your household, then not meet you. Okay? Then come back, then not meet you. Okay? Then he asks you neighbor, because it's not so actual counting in the journal, or not so actual way they call it. He asks you neighbor. If Sabti and Mabel are a neighbor, then don't count a Mabel in house once, twice, Mabel no day. You get some kind of people in the way you hardly meet an house. Okay, then go ask Sabti. Sabti, bo, you didn't Mabel na your neighbor. You can tell we exactly based on the fact that a neighbor, you go must know, say Mabel they live na this. So you can tell we exactly how much people in the live na Mabel in house based on what you observe and everything. You can get an estimate of how much people you feel say they live na Mabel in house. Okay, then even though Mabel no day, we go still take GPS coordinates of that household, okay, and identify it because you see the household, you then at the spots, you see the household,
so
identify the type of household. Yes, identify the type of household.
How many households them they salon as per which one I don't count right now?
No, at this point in time, as I tell you, we do on data cleaning. Okay. It will be very premature, if not immature, for make a can divulge, say, now this amount of households we get. Okay. Where we get lots of things that we need for be done. Mind you, I tell you, we do on data cleaning. And during
the program, Good Morning Salon, they continue, and this time around, we bring in with studio guests, Winner Samuel and Sumana, Winner Director of Communication and Public Relations Statistics Salon, and then they talk about the different things they don't do on the cartographic mapping for sake of the midterm census. On us, I don't do 99% in terms of this mapping. In one update, we will be those the statistician general point out things that we people need to understand. One may get for Talek, some people in one apartment will make up of different member of family, and also people in the winner that they shop that they use as an household. In the area, then they map the kind of people in the winner such situation.
Okay, very critical question. First things first, I think it better make a define what we consider as an household. Okay, an household, for the purpose of the census and for this what we do, now a house and all the people in within that house who they garden as a unit. People in where they eat from the same pot. It's possible so we could get several households now the same house. You get in compound the way you get several several apartments inside one big house. But everybody where they eat from the same pot, then get one eating arrangement, now one household.
So what about people who not in a house in terms of a building, but rather a shop, but they eat from the same pot?
Then they eat from the same pot, then they're not a building. They're not there now like you said they're not in a house?
Yeah, but maybe not in shop that they use as your household. A shop where you say yeah, something that they sell.
No.
But now they didn't stay and
do
everything.
We go map them under the pot where they eat. Whose side they eat? The pot whose side they eat. We go ask them whose pot they eat. So the pot where they eat that day you go fall. Okay? The reason why we do that day, now because as I say, you can get several people. If you go, we get some compounding. I don't want to begin name specific places, but we know some places they were very clustered. You get one host until one host get over 100 people. One host. But then you get several people where they eat from the same pot. So everybody where they eat from the same pot or where they get one eating arrangement. Now they live together and they eat from the same pot. We consider for be one household.
So where people are where they eat in a different household, they go come where I get a family, and they get a family other side. How on they deal with that kind of situation in there?
So even for the counting, like I even tell you this, even for the counting, we get in kind of thing. For example, we get chief there. We get chief we get 3-4 women. You get 3-4 women in one. All right. So that particular chief day, Usai is sleep on the night of the census that they will get for contact. So we get for contact. In that case, now one side with the placer. If in a one person, but it eat 3-4 side. You know, people in there salon we get 3-4s, then they sleep to the eastern, tomorrow they sleep west, the other 10 and sleep yonder, the other 10 and sleep yonder. Usai no more than sleep on the census night. And they didn't get for fall.
So back to the issue of the cartographic mapping, this 99% we una don already complete, because remember one of the reasons them why they made some census come now, because some people been feel left out, then been said they not been count them in the 2015 census. And this cartographic mapping, they inform which one I go get for do for the head count itself. We go for be determine the dates come when at the midterm census. At this stage, you already make mention say we una people and go for do the cartographic mapping for count the households them. Then they mark na side them where they don't come out.
Yeah.
Somebody will go they listen. If it also not get any indication, say statistics alone, then can count me us. Waiting for happen where the process done the 99% sooner.
Okay, so we still not complete the process. Even as we the talk, we get situations then where we send mappers and still in the field for go map.
But you see when they do mopping up now.
And I heard they say mopping up. For example, if we get a situation where the threshold of 80 not be met in a certain place, then the person go carve the EA. So they get 50 households or 60 households, they carve the EA. We they send them mapper, then they go back na the field, go redo this EA. All right, we still they do them things then they. Now we even get a survey, an online survey where I push through. You know, substitute dynamic distribution list, by the way. You know, I push and through. We they ask people and we do an online survey where they ask people and for inputs. If they don't reach na their host or not, whether you get a feeling say they reach na you host or then count you host, tell we and drop your number. We they call you, because this is a digital census. We want for digitize all the processes. We even don't do that the way we push around social media. We push them around, we do announcements, we tell people then, if you feel say for any reason, nobody no can you host for can count, for can map or whatsoever, get onto we will go send people and we go map.
Almost people in person, the enumerators them now they almost been go out.
We've been get about 1,200 enumerators spread all across the country, all right, for do the cartographic mapping, about 1,200.
That's enough for a population of over 7 million.
Of course, enough, because by the way, we expect one enumerator for complete one enumeration area in a day, and we don't do this process for like about 3 months.
Waiting at the budgets for the cartographic mapping.
The specifics, you know, budget lines are things that we very difficult for talk about them. All right?
Why?
I will tell you why. Because when I can start, when I go, when I get need for add on to whether logistical or technological and other improvements. So when I need for me, I'm coming.
When I can always get planning stage.
I'm coming.
When I the project see.
I know.
Now this wait on a project for the cartographic mapping.
Okay, so for the entire cartographic mapping in the country, I don't want for can pinpoint specific budget saying that this we project for you. But what I will tell you now this, for the one whole census, the cartographic mapping have been one stage where they hit lots of money from the entire process. Okay.
What means you get an idea of almost?
Of course, I get an idea of how much. I know. I don't want for divulge Andy. But let's you say, originally we budget about $10 million for this census. Okay, 6 million of that they've been coming from the World Bank. In fact, the World Bank don't up Randy. They say they could go up to 10 million. All right. In fact, they're ready for add maybe a further 1-2 million to Dandy. Okay, we did. I don't want for be in a situation where I go can't talk say this now the media. I mean a media practitioner. I know it's mean where you can to figures where they divulge figures. All right. So the details of the budget, as in we don't expend, because you can get you can make an expected budget of 5 million. Okay. Then you end up for spend 15 million. Okay.
So from which you
if I can't tell you say hold on. If I can't tell you say we don't spend 5 million, or we've been budget for 5 million, they end up so we don't spend 20 million. It might appear like say I don't deceive the public.
So
okay?
una might go beyond on a budget because una want get a right.
It
We mean say
always,
we mean say if una want get a right, any side we gap the or things and una need for correct, una go ensure say una correct them.
even personnel wise, we go correct her. Even personnel wise, let me also tell you this. Even personnel wise, we not being they expect say we go even employ more people. We even get people even for the provisioning. May I tell you this also? For the provisioning of the tablets, we not be even get. By the way, as I tell you, this is a learning curve for Sierra Leone.
We still get Samuel and Sumanan at the studio. We're a director of communication and public relations. Now statistics salon. We don't talk about the cartographic mapping process. We get for inform waiting go get for happen the midterm census itself. At this stage, well, we get about 18 months to the national elections, and statistics salon they work on figures them as well. We'll get for address all of the issues in the end. Counting in anything, people, especially when campaign elections, can look up to numbers the owner can collect, although next step get for do the own process and NCRA as well. But all of this, now one part the concerns them with the National Elections Watch, back then be the raise as to the process in delay ahead of the national elections, and on still up on the cartographic when dates they come out for the midterm census. Now another story, we not get any specific dates up to this time. All of this not going to affect the calendar for elections.
We work not get nothing for do with elections, as far as I know. Okay, what do we do? Now forget the figures, all right? Get the population, and then they will go do this year. By the way, we do the cartograph. We done the census this year. We do the census with the conductor this year, 2021. We don't get a date yet because we get critical milestones. We want for do, we want for wait and call. The provisioning of the tablets thing, that one they will start on very soon. Right now, as I say, we do data cleaning. We GIS officer and they run like a topology of the boundaries so that the boundaries are not go overlap, the boundaries are not go touch.
Because that's about ask we say when I work not get nothing for the election, but it's about boundary delimitation and all of the information and they get for come out from census way when I get for do.
No, we can do boundary delimitation. We can do the map. Now we do the map right now as we talk. Even the cartographic mapping will do. Now mapping of Sierra Leone. We get a map of Sierra Leone. We do the map of Sierra Leone. The map then they will get for put inside with tablets thing. The tablet thing, we put the CS Pro and the EA pad inside the tablets where then get for go do the work. But we don't work, as I say. Somehow people can feel like say, okay, census now for elections and everything, but we not get nothing for do with elections. What do? We they get the data, we put on at the table. Like you get food, you put on at the table. How possible you want for item na in business? Several people in the way go feed off from that food day. All right, some man go feed off a choke, some man go feed off a colic, whatever it is, But people in the way they utilize the data. How they utilize the data, not so we own cup of tea that one.
So there's no going to be any monitoring system for ensuring they utilize them the right way.
No. It's not
going to be available, but there should be some guide.
Not even we mandate, Dandy. We mandate now for conduct a census, get the population figures for the country. All right, tell you how many households then they do the boundary, they do the map of Sierra Leone and put on at the table. Yeah, now the map and this and that. Anybody, international partners, local people, any other person can use that data day. Okay. But we know they say we data now for elections and for this and for that, not for any one of them.
So now the other important aspect of this whole census, now we don't so much emphasize it, this is going to be a full census done on digital.
Yes.
And in our update when we do some time back, there's an issue about tablets coming in, challenges and all. Yeah. In terms of that area, how much on don't prepare, especially on the availability of the tablet, we're very key.
All 20,000 tablets are in country as I speak. We don't bring them come in the country with the power banks. We work on doing a media show. We go invite the media. Let us go see, because seeing they say is believing. They wanna go see them tablet then they for ourselves. All right. We don't come at the country. We dey. All right. We will get 20,000 from KNBS. Okay. that one day in the country. So we don't get a problem of tablets at all. All right. We get other updates saying we try for do for make sure say we get what's in and call when you do a census, you get what's in and call international comparability. You get benchmarks away from it. So we get a team where they work with data science for develop a dashboard, and they come on Malawi. That dashboard day, real time, it get for day or can help we with the provisioning of the tablets, the 20,000 tablets. So tablets day. Then after that day, we go to the pilot census. We get for pilot the census like for tests. The scenarios, different scenarios for them tablets and day for a period of 2 weeks.
And it shows say all that process they go for complete, and we get the midterm census this year, as you don't say.
I'm very, very sure. Very sure. Say we conduct the census this year.
So conducting the census this year, one of the major issues them with National Elections Watch, for example, where we don't follow them on, then concern them with them we want for statistics.
Right? Where them be used, then count, and we self don't do we own verification on them tablet, and they don't do we own checks on them tablet, and if we say they are working fine. As we talk right now, we deal with the charge them, we do
because the reason why I asked if Salon they can use iPads and where other countries we don't use, and I think we get for do with data. We all know say concerns them they come already from the public as to una want for keep the team very open and the integrity of the whole process. So if I used iPad on the camera,
so not use other person.
Or that them when they involve for like verify for say no information or they everything is cleaned up. Or that them when they involve in that.
Okay, so we get consultants where they come. We work on the Ghanaian census, I tell you, then work on the Kenyan census. Now the two major digital censuses in Africa that the way to happen. All right. By the way, we own software. The software we they use in Ghana and Kenya different from the software we they use in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone are the EA pad we they use. All right. Now, there is no way in which you go incorporate data from another country on the EA pad because now like it designed for Sierra Leone specifically. There is no way in which you they go take data from other country or get figures from other country because that one they customized for Sierra Leone. So then they own for say then concerning the maybe don't you when people they say hey, they don't pull data from other place, make data not come out here come salon because they would use tablet them from other country and all of that one day with their people in affairs. This one will be very clean. Now clean tablets and we don't carry it. We don't watch them, we don't test them.
All the 20,000.
Of course. And we go for invite the media alone and go and go see for ourselves.
Okay, continue for the with Samuel and Sumana from Statistics Salon. Inside the program, Good Morning Salon, now we go continue with your studio guest, Samuel and Sumana. We so far don't talk about the different things that they don't put for ensure say the cartographic mapping correct we will lead to the country and national census. One thing they want to they call this census, the people census. Yep. That's what they refer to. Yep. And all of them theories they don't put in place, going back to the drawing table. Corrections, side the way people get concerned, and sure say also do tin them for make sure say the census get a national face. You think say this still enough for let people get that kind of trust and confidence in una at the end of the day?
Okay, so first things first. For the very first time in Sierra Leone, we do a census where we know the fair people and from one part of the country to the other for go work.
Maybe don't be before?
Severally. Okay? That's not like a normal. We want the people to own this process. All right? In fact, we'll put out the advertisement for the adverts, the advert for the short-term contract for the census. We make it clear, say if you apply na your district of residence or your district of birth. So you either for don't born at that place there, you for be a native of the place, or you for reside at the place. Okay? So one the people for own this process. Not just a situation where now we know. No. Now make we drag lots of people there along. Civil society, the media, the political parties, every other person were involved. Because this, for the first time na Sierra Leone, na a novelty. In fact, Sierra Leone will be proud. because we are the very first country in Africa for do a full digital census. Last time you waiting, then they go do. It will even help for add to the expertise we'll get in country. Because we will get a situation where other countries of the world will want to do censuses go give far to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone will be a reference point. As a country will do a full digital census, they will go there, low bank on them for expertise, for make we go do censuses in other parts of the country.
So let's make up
other
to
parts
these
of the world,
dates,
rather.
We're not able to forget specific dates yet for this mini census.
Okay, so we're not able to forget specific dates yet for one simple reason, because we don't want to forget and wrong again. Okay? We want a situation where all the critical milestones will for be met. Okay? All the things that we're critical will for do. The provisioning of the tablets, all right? The pilot census, forget all the consultants for do this cartographic mapping, what they do, would they try to identify the building types, whether a traditional hut, whether a bungalow, whether a single story, whether a two-story.
Finance right now as we talk.
We are financially embedded. Like pretend that way.
Money day.
Yeah, money day. Right. Money day. But we need more.
Okay.
We need more because you can never have all of the money. As I tell you, one thing safe way I've been telling you about when I've been cut me short because when I want to go for a break. We get situations in way we not be even budget for some things where at the end of the day we end up for discover say we need for do them. For example, we need for provision the tablets. In we own imagination, we are taught provisioning of the tablets was going to be a situation where from one tablet you get the application, you send them randomly now all the tablets. That is not the case. We find out from the consultants the way they can say it is going to be like a chain. Each one tablet they go through a chain. All right, we need to employ in excess of 250 people for do that provision in day. You know what? Now, money we get for pay them people in day, we get for contract them people in day for do the provision. Like a chain work, like a factory. This person do your own party, pass on to this person. This person do your own party, pass on to this person. On to the last person where they couple them up. All right, so a lot of things in the way we even not be budget for, where at the end of the day we discover say we need for do this, we need for do that. We still plead with partners, though we get money from the World Bank, all right, from UNICEF, we get also support from UNFPA, UNECA, don't they support we, the KNBS, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the Chinese Embassy, the Mano River Union, the World Bank, Government of Sierra Leone. We still need more.
So if there is any critical objection from any set of party or individual, we go see statistics go back to the drawing board for get them right. We
know in any way averse to criticism. In fact, let's say waiting criticism to do for you. It'll help you for look at your inner self, all right? Look at your own internal processes and procedures and try for better them. So that we know that in any way frown at no point in time. In all of the critics and the criticism we don't get, we ever come out with a statement, they condemn a critic. No, that's not our style.
So we
not engagement. When you criticize, we engage.
When I don't address the concerns and we specifically been come from the National Election Watch concerning the process itself.
As I tell you, we don't meet with the National Elections Watch. The National Elections Watch. A couple of times we'll meet with them, waiting them be one for no, waiting them one for get, now for make them see. I think
when I don't clear them concerns them,
we don't meet with them. We don't clear them concerns. We don't explain to them. All right, but we still get that.
Because I ask, as from the last time we I understand, but Una and them the concern. Then why are they asked? Because we don't host the executive director for New Year so many times on this particular issue. And the last time we get information from the office now that Una been go there, but Una not get any conclusion as to addressing the specific concerns them with them being.
Yes, we promise for we actually say we plan another meeting, but we don't so soaked into this cartographic mapping process that we not get that meeting day yet. But we except for get that meeting day. But I will tell you one thing where I will tell you now that new really don't they understand the processes of the census. Okay? Not only new. I don't want for really specify just new. All other partners were involved in this process. We maybe not be critical voices. We want them on board. We want them to be on board. Because we want people to monitor the process. We want people to actually stay inside this process. Because at the end of the day, We call this the people census. We want to know the media. That is why one of my colleague then, you know, with the talk to una, for una self, anything go una get, una call on we. Questions, una get observations, you know, whatever una need for clarify, una get on to we will clarify them.
Many thanks. Will you join me at the program this morning? Samuel Ansumana, Director of Communication.